And we are live. Let's hope some people join us soon. Well, don't look like anybody joining us tonight. Maybe I should just talk to myself. Don't look like anybody joining us tonight, so maybe I should just talk to myself. Alright, so you have one person on. Could you just share and invite the rest of people to come on? Just share the live and invite some other people to come join us. Ivan, you want to join me? I don't know if I should do that because we have it alive. I don't know. Welcome everybody. Can you just take a few minutes to just share the live and come right back? Can you just take a few minutes and share it? Share it to all the delegates that you know. All the PNP delegates all over the country. Share it and invite them in, please. Let us look at Rohino. Thanks for joining. Chris Davis, you are always early. Why you behave like you're PNP? What's the matter with you? Hi Blossom, thanks for watching. Jeannie. Hello Jeannie. How you doing now? I hope everybody have them drink, them bottle, them cup, them glass. Everybody bring everything because we're going to be toasting two things tonight. So get your bottle, get your glass, share the live, invite some people to join us, and then let's begin. Chris, you know that Andrew Wallace is my MP, right? Nice to see you, Jeannie. Share the live, Jeannie. Blossom. Oh, okay, Ivan. I thought you wanted to come on, but share the live, please. Invite some other people to join us and let us get it going. So I give it like 3 minutes more or so. Good evening, bro. You know what's happening, bro? Yes, Chris, really. It's Jews land I live. Coming to you live from the great state of Jewsland. The great state of Jewsland. Coming to you live. Just coming from a meeting with my priest. Boy, when you have a meeting with the priest, you have to rush him because they're going to spend the whole night there if you rush him. Share the live, invite people to join us, and let us wait a little bit more as well as more people. Oh, you're up already, Andrea. Andrea, you're ready. Up and ready. I like that. Resistance up and ready. Share the live, share the live. We got a few more people and let us get going. 6 minutes past. Regina, Andrea, Blossom. Hello, Everall. How are you, Comrade Malcolm? Power up. I hope you're not on the road watching no live. I hope you're home. Good afternoon to you, sir. It's always great to say hello to you. Comrade Everall Malcolm. Great PNP. Share the live with some people that don't know. Share the live with the delegates that don't know, and the PNP delegates and the PNP people. And then come right back and let us get into it. I don't want to stay too long tonight, but Share the live. Andrea, where's the war room? I don't see the war room. And Andrea, where's the war room? Where's the war room? Nice. Thank you, Blossom. So, let's get into it. Sunny days, you need to behave yourself. You hear me? Behave. Good evening, Maurice. Hi, Comrade Melverton. Good night to you, sir. Here you had a wonderful event over the weekend, celebrating the life of our great founder, Norman Manley. I'm glad that it was successful. God bless you and keep you and your team always. You know. Good evening. You're on the road, Comrade Everett, but you stop, right? You stop to watch. Sunny days, you need to behave yourself. If you don't behave yourself, you're not going to get no fish and no ackee and no coconut drops. You have to behave yourself tonight, as you're not going to get all of that. War room is up and ready. All right. I trust everybody have a bottle, a cup, a glass, so that we can drink to some things tonight. Drink to some momentous occasions. I'm gonna wait 1 more minute. There you go, and we are ready. Let me see. Better say hello to a few more people. Okay, behaving, man. True. Oh, okay, come here, man. Yes, Chris, you love my company. Oh, Jesus. Well, I know it's after 2 in the UK. Yeah, you love my company. Hello, Douglas. Good to see you. Yes, Jeannie, get some red wine. Get some red wine. Want to get something to drink and let's go. All right? For a minute there, I thought I was going to be like about 5 or so minutes late because my priest was, him just never want to finish. But so it is with the Ruth Bailey. Welcome, that you can join us. Comments. The first thing I want to good night to you all. I trust everyone is safe and your family and children are safe and everybody is happy and good. Tonight we want to celebrate the first milestone that we're going to be drinking to. So let me start with that first milestone. As of today, July 5th, 2022, the resistance now has resistance leaders in all 63 constituencies across Jamaica. As of today, the last 2 constituencies, the last 2 parishes to join us came from Clarendon and St. Catherine, well, 3, and Manchester. So the resistance now has leadership in all 63 constituencies across the Highland. So let's raise your glasses and your bottles and your cups and drink to the PNP resistance. Cheers. We'll soon cheers, drink to the next thing. Comrades, yesterday was Norman Manley's birthday. Norman Washington Manley, the founder of the People's National Party, first president of the People's National Party. And yesterday was also America's Independence Day, was also America's birthday. I want to share the live, get people to come on and so they can catch the whole beginning of this. Welcome everyone. Giovan, Ivan, and welcome everyone. America got their independence from Britain in 1776. And that started in many, many ways. It's not one thing that propelled that independence. It's a series of events that propelled that independence for America in 1776. There was the Midnight Ride by Paul Revere. A young fellow came into the livery stable and said to Paul Revere, I was down by the dock, and I hear some whispering, and they said the British are coming. So Paul Revere got on his horse, and he rode throughout all of New England, knocking on every door, every barn, every bar, and he shouted, the British are coming. Because King George was already having some problem with the Americans, and so he was sending in some new troops to come put them under manners and get them to subdue them, so to speak. So Paul Revere rode all night and got the British and informed the Americans that the British are coming. That was in New England. Over on the other side of the country, there was George Washington doing his little thing, having his little meetings, getting his men organized to let their displeasure be known to the king about how they felt about being colonized by the English. In America, it is thought that the founding fathers are really about 7 guys. There was George Washington, there was Thomas Jefferson, there was John Adams, there was Alexander Hamilton, there was Benjamin Franklin, and Jefferson. So there's 7 of them. 2 of the other guys were kind of unknown. And those 7 guys got together and kind of plan what they want to see America to be like. And so they got together and they get the thing together and people got to go. America, they refer to their founding fathers as founding fathers by including all 7 men. But when America is talking about their founding father, there's only one man, and that's George Washington. America refers to him as the founding father, and then refer to all the other guys that were with him as the founding fathers of the United States. So there was a group of them, but George Washington was the one who was leading that crew. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Adams, and James Monroe, all of them were plantation owners and slave owners. And so all of them got together and wanted to find out why all of that, and they want to get freedom and they want all of that. So they got together and they do it. So that there is that. When the dust is settled and America got its independence and the documents were being written, there were still just those 7 men. But by the time they got around to electing a leader, that person was George Washington. And he is known throughout American history as the founding father of the United States. Undoubtedly. Why? Because he was the one who led the thing. He was the one who put the thing together. He was the one who get those men together. He was the one who was going around and talking to people in bars and saloons and whorehouses and barns and everywhere. Farmers and teachers and blacksmiths. George Washington was the one who was doing that. When the war was going on, George Washington was a general. And he was the one who was directing the Continental Army. He was the general of the Continental Army. And when they fought their final battle at Yorktown, where they laid siege in Yorktown and held off General Cornwallis and his crew from all ends, and then the French came and joined them, and they became victorious. America got their independence. George Washington was the first president. He's revered all over the country as the founding father of the nation. In every state, everywhere, everything is named after George Washington. While some states name the other 7 men, George Washington have something everywhere in every state. And so, without a doubt, George Washington is the founding father of the United States. Why did I bring that up? Because currently there's a little debate going on with a whole heap of people in the PNP doing some revisionist history, where they now want to say that Norman Manley was not the founder of the PNP, but indeed Norman Manley was a co-founder. And I'm here to tell you tonight that for the next couple of weeks, the resistance will be mashing down that lie. We're going to war with all of those who are saying that Norman Manley did not found the People's National Party. He was a co-founder. And in the next week or so, Michelle Stern will be doing a live to come go through the whole thing with you. Comrades, gonna share the live now. Share the live. I don't think gonna share the live. Share the live. We'll be going through the whole thing to impress upon you how Norman Manley was the founder of the PNP and not OT Fairclough. Where did this OT Fairclough thing come about? It started, and I want to make it clear that I'm not quarreling with PJ Patterson. I'm not quarreling with anybody. PJ and I have had our quarrels already. We're done quarrel. We're good now. But the whole OT Fairclough thing started in 2013 when PJ gave an inaugural address, a kind of a lecture series that was put on by the PNP YO. And PJ gave that address and mentioned that whole thing about OT Fairclough being a co-founder of the People's National Party. And from then on, people like Arnold Bertram and what's his name? I don't remember his name. Started talking of Paul Buchanan and Arnold Bertram and other people. Started talking about OT Fairclough being co-founder of the PNP. Now, tonight I don't intend to go through all the reasons why we know that OT Fairclough was not a co-founder of the PNP. But I want to just highlight a couple of things very, very quickly. Let's get this straight. Every founder and every leader had a crew are just telling that George Washington wasn't the only man. It was him and James Madison and John Adams and Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton and Benjamin Franklin. All of them was with George Washington. But George Washington was the man leading the process. So he became known as the founding father of the nation. And that is without doubt or quarrel. How this OT Fairclough thing came into the PNP by a group of people who seem to want to wipe the Manley name from the history of the PNP and install this black man who they claim to have been a banker. Well, let me tear that curtain, let's move that curtain away from the old foolishness about OT Fairclough. First, they said he was a banker. OT Fairclough was not a banker. OT Fairclough came back to Jamaica and said he was a banker, and according to some of the history outlined by PG and Paul Buchanan and Arnold Bertram, he worked at a bank in Haiti. And they listed the bank, which have a French name but pronounced Arcais. Now, if you look at the banks in Haiti between the year 1920 and 1934, when OT Fairclough returned to Jamaica, there was no such bank. Not a bank like that never exists in Haiti in 1934 when OT Fairclough came back to Jamaica. Some people say when he came to Jamaica, he applied at a bank for work. And he was a black man, so nobody not going to give him no work. They might for him work as a porter or a janitor, whatever. He's not going to get no work at the Jamaican bank in black. So that 1934 he wasn't going to get any work for that. So that's what I say. So the first myth is he was not a banker. He came back with a letter of recommendation that he was an assistant manager at a bank named Arcade. No such bank existed. As a matter of fact, in 1934, when he came back, there was no more than about 11 banks in Haiti, and all of them were American-owned banks. Well, 2 of them was French-owned banks, but all of them was basically American-owned banks. So OT Fairclough was not a banker. He was a man who worked in one bank and come say him working in one bank. The next myth, 1934 is a very strange time. And I looked at 1934. I remember when I got the information earlier on today about the 1934 thing that he came back to Jamaica, something clicked in my mind. Because in 1934, Franklin Delano Roosevelt removed America left Haiti in 1934. He pulled America out of Haiti in 1934. And just about the same time, OT Fairclough came to Jamaica. Those things are strange circumstances. Strange. And as Freud said, there are no circumstances. So those are strange things about OT Fairclough. He wasn't a banker. He came back to Jamaica in 1934, just about the same time that FDR pulled America out of Haiti. And half the banks in Haiti went with the American troops, even though America still had economic ties in Haiti. All right. Third myth. OT Fairclough founded the newspaper called The Public Opinion. Now, isn't it a strange thing that a man could have founded a newspaper that they say he founded and recruited people to work at, but there's absolutely no evidence, nothing to suggest that he was actually a founder of the paper. No writings, no letter, no papers, no nothing. The man founded a newspaper and there's nothing to show that he wrote. Bagger all wash. Fourth thing. Here is them telling about OT Fairclough co-found PNP and it was his idea. Now you tell me this because you know sensible people. You have more sense more than me. Because a basic school me go. How can you be a co-founder for a movement and the movement launched on the day September 18, 1938 and you never give a speech? And if you were co-founder and you gave a speech, where is the speech? Because we have Norman's speech. We have Norman stand up and talk. But it is called the People's National Party for Ray. How on God's earth would you have a co-founder who never spoke at the launch of the party that he's a co-founder of? How come we can't find no document, no speech, no letters, no nothing that OT Fairclough have written that we can refer to? How come? None of that. So my conclusion is OT Fairclough must have been a riser and a scammer coming from Haiti. Must not co-founder PNP. Here's the next thing. Them come with an argument about OT Fairclough was walking around the country and recruiting people. Lie. Absolutely dirty lie. It was Norman Washington Manley who walked around the country and recruited people and sell them on the idea of a political movement. Somebody wrote, I think it was Bertram or one of them wrote that when he came back, when Fairclough came back, he went to apply for a job. He didn't get the job and so he thought that he needed a political party because he never get a job. What kind of foolishness is that? On the take black people for idiot. So comrades, I want to know that there seems to be some kind of conspiracy by a group of black men in this country and joined by the white man Mark to discredit Norman Manley and big up this big-head black man from Haiti who came back from 1934 with absolutely nothing, never worked, never owned no bank, was no banker. He come back and say he was an assistant manager at some fictitious bank that never existed in 1934. And talk about even walk around the country and talk to people and recruit people. Alright? Wanna say that? Show us a picture of him walking around the country. Because we have lots of pictures of Norman walking around the country, talking to people, selling them on the idea of a political movement. And it is so amazing to watch grown, sensible, educated people buying into that argument that OT Fairclough was co-founder of the PNP. Grown, educated people. OT Fairclough, to me, based on the concerted effort by so many people to promote him as a co-founder of PNP without any evidence of him being here, co-founding anything. Norman Manley set up the committee. Norman Manley was at John Blair meeting with over brown people. Then because PNP started out as a brown people middle class party. Wasn't for poor people. Never started that way. Norman Manley was there. Norman Manley was chairman of the committee. How on God's earth would you make the co-founder secretary of the committee? Norman Manley was the chairman. Therefore, the co-founder must be co-chairman. Norman Manley was King's Counsel. Norman Manley would not be sitting beside a man who co-founded. Norman Manley was a man of principle. Norman Manley was a man of honesty and loyalty and dignity. He would not have done and said the things that he has done and said without including anybody who co-founded anything with him. It's a blatant, dirty lie perpetrated by a group of black men in this country. That's how it started. And I'm not calling them names, but they know themselves. Want to whitewash the PNP. Want to introduce this revisionist history to say that Norman Manley was not our founder, but this man named OT Fairclough. A man, I might point out, that we have no record of. How we have so much things about Norman? How we don't have nothing about him? Ask yourself that question. How on God's earth could he be a co-founder with Norman? And we have everything there is on Norman and nothing on this man who died in Germany, I believe. Probably in the 60s. So he himself was telling some of these tales before he died. That man, OT Fairclough. He was telling some of these tales before he died about him being co-founder of the People's National Party. He was no co-founder of the People's National Party. He was just one of them man who hung out with Norman, when Norman had think up in party and the name of him party and what him party is about, and that was how it all went. Share the life, people. If they believe that OT Fairclough is a co-founder of the PNP, if there is any semblance of a evidence, anything at all, show us. The resistance research team, the resistance secretary, and our research team is one of the best in this country. Only can challenge us on any information. We have the best research team currently inside the PNP. And we are going to find out everything. And Michelle Stern is going to come on live. And she is going to lay it out to the comrades. Comrades, people trying to change the PNP. And maybe that was Bunting's idea. Because he was a banker. Well, he is a banker. A short-ass black man banker. And what him came up with this whole idea to revisit the PNP and change the PNP history, to make the PNP be a black man that founded the PNP, to write out the manly name out of the PNP. It's a wicked and vicious act. And we must refuse to accept it. We must reject it. OT Fairclough, my foot. Who is this man? Where was he from? Where is he from? Where is he from in Jamaica? When yard there? When family lineage there? Who is he? We don't know who is he. Nobody know who this man is. But suddenly, he is the co-founder of the People's National Party. Where on God's green earth do we get that foolishness? So much so that you have leaders in the PNP now who ought to know better, referring to Norman Manley as co-founder. Is there some kind of conspiracy? Is there some kind of conspiracy to rebrand the PNP and take out the Manley name? Why is Mark Golding and him crew trying to confuse PNP people? The same old play that white people does. Divide and rule. Confuse PNP people. When Norman formed the PNP in 1938, Buster was in prison. And there's a popular story that when Buster was in prison, Norman formed the party. And when Buster came out of prison, the governor of Jamaica at the time, Denham, I think, I'm going to close the window. Governor Denham look at Buster and said to Buster, said, boy, your cousin farm it, him one party, you know, so you have to go farm one too. And that's how Buster go farm the Jamaica Labour Party, because in bad mind. Buster was too dunce to farm anything for him own. And Norman was not going to hang out with Buster, because Norman know Buster dunce. So Norman was never ever going to hang out with Buster and farm the party with Buster. And for Norman no mad. Norman a King's Council, Rhodes Scholar. Why would he want to hang out with Buster and farm any kind of party with Buster, knowing that Buster was an idiot? So don't listen to all that revisionist history that them talking about. OT Fairclough did not co-found the People's National Party. Some years ago, I do construction work. I renovate old buildings, particularly internal renovations. And some years ago, I got a job in John Blair to renovate a house. The lady was abroad, and I got the job. And I was in John Blair doing that renovation for about 2 days. And one day, we were inside doing the ceiling. And when we push up the ceiling, we realized the groove and tongue wasn't holding. It wasn't screwed down. So there was a number, whole heap of groove and tongue were dropping down, were loose. And the zinc was lifting up, and we understood why the walls had water running down them because of that. So I went on the roof. I went on the house top of the building. I climbed up on that house top and I went up there. I went up there with my screws and I went up there with the thing. And I proceeded in the sun to put in new screws in that house top. And I walk around the whole house top and put in new screws. And when I was finished, I just stood there on top of the building, just looking around, seeing all the houses, seeing the whole of Jumblair for all that it is, in my Supergirl pose, and looking around. And then my eyes settled on a section of Jumblair, and I'm looking like that. And I said, that look like Norman Manley Yard. So I came off of the house top, tell my workers they must soon come, and I walked down the road. And when I walked down the road, the gate was open. And it was Norman Manley's house, Jumblair, the famous Jumblair. And the gate was wide open. And I slowly walked in. I did it slowly because I was just taking it all in. I mean, this was where Norman lived. This was where all the people used to come to have those meetings. It was such a surreal feeling. And I looked at the shed at the front of the building. And if some of you have seen that picture with Norman in the middle and his two sons beside him, Michael and Douglas, young men those times, standing up right at that little shed there at the house. If you have seen that picture, that shed is still there. And I walked up, I was just taking it all in. And it was long after I reached up to that top, I started asking, I said, anybody home? Hello, hello, hello. And a middle-aged woman came outside and said, hello. And I said, hi, my name is Karen Cross. I'm a PNP. The gate was open, so I just came in. And she said, the gate always open, ma'am. Everybody just come and everybody want to come in. So we just left it open so that people can just come as them like. And I said, can I look around? She said, yeah, man, everybody come and look around. So I said, is there any manly here? And she said, yes, Mr. Douglas inside. Really? Yes. Douglas was inside and his son, Norman, was inside. So I walked around the building. I went around the back. I was just taking in the whole place. I was looking at the building. I was looking at the walls. I was looking at the material that built the building. I was looking at everything. I was just taking it in because that's how I look at buildings. Then I went inside. And the little back porch there that just looked like, one of those 1920s back porch. That's how it was built. It was flat. It was easy for rain to run in it and all of that. But, there was not much rainfall in the 1920s. So it was easy for people to build homes like that. And I stepped in and the little veranda area. And then I saw that on the right, there was this place looked like a breakfast room. Looked like where Norman would sit down and read the newspaper and drink him coffee. I look at I'm looking at the cupboards and some of the mahogany tables that were still there, some mahogany tables, some small tables, and I imagine Norman and Edna sitting down, Norman sitting down writing a letter, and all of that going into my head. I was giddy, totally giddy about it all. And finally I walked down to the master bedroom, down further around, that going back to the front of the house, and there was Douglas sitting in a chair. I said, hi, comrade Douglas. And of course, he didn't recognize me. I talked to him, I tell him I'm a PNP. Once I tell him I'm a PNP, things settle down quickly in his mind. And we talked for a bit. I can't remember what we talked about, but I was just talking to him. But while I was talking to him, I was just taking in the whole thing. Yes, the walls need some painting, but it was still very firm 1920s kind of building. The house was probably building about 25 or 26 based on the material. That's my assumption about it. I saw his son, Norman. I walked through all the rooms, every room, went back out the back, and I'm just imagining all kind of things in my head. But also, I thought that the place was dilapidated. The yard need to cut. There's this look like Norman used to have a fulcrum or something, but the thing just looked shabby. The place looked real disgraceful. I came home the evening and I called Comrade PJ Pattison. And I said, Comrade Leader, this is Karen Cross. I'm so how you doing? I said, I'm fine. I said, Comrade Leader, you know that the other day I went to John Blair. And I went inside. Him said, yes. I said, yes, I went to John Blair. I saw Douglas. He's still there. And PJ asked me how he was. Comrades were not sharing the live, you know. And he asked me, how was Douglas? And I said, Douglas was fine. And I told him how Douglas was and all the rest of it. Then I said to PJ, boy, the place is shabby. It really needs some fixing up. A place like that should not stay like that. And PJ said, really? I said, yes, the place is disgraceful, Comrade Leader. Because it's a worker doing up the road. And I saw it and I said, when go down there, go look at it. And PJ asked me what kind of work I was doing. I told him. And he said, that's what you do? I said, yes, Comrade Leader. That's what I do. I fix up places. And he said, okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go back there for me and take some pictures and do an assessment and get back to me. That evening, I believe, or the following evening, I went to have a drink somewhere and I met Roma Binns there. Roma Binns is Danishka's mother. And Roma and I, we were having a drink. I think it was by Prince Place. And we were having a drink. And I was telling Roma about the experience of walking into Drum Blair and what I saw and how I felt about it. And I told Roma that I called PJ and PJ said I must go back and assess the place and come back and tell him. So Roma said, yes. I said, yes, she said, I'll come with you. And Roma and I went back to that place a couple of days later. Danishka, if you're watching, tell the man if we go find the pictures because I can't find them. But it's my little camera. I had this little camera that I carried with me to take pictures of buildings when I'm going to do any work, to take pictures of the place. And Roma and I went back to John Blair. And boy, it was like walking into history. It was like being a part of something great. We took pictures with Douglas. We took pictures in a Norman house. We touched everything. We wanted to touch everything that we thought that Norman touched. So we touched everything. Went out into the yard. Sit down on a stone. We thought that Norman probably sit up on the stone. We don't know if the stone just come there. Norman probably sit down on the stone. There's a little tree. I don't know if it's a lime tree or a little tree that hang over into the, there's a ridge that going back kind of a gully ridge. It's not a gully, but you look down to other homes and stuff. And we do all of that. And took the pictures and took pictures. And boy, it was so real. Me and Roma, we had a good time there. And send them off to PJ. Unfortunately, Douglas died a couple of weeks or so afterwards. And the whole thing fell apart and we never get back to do it. Comrades, Norman Washington Manley is the founder of the People's National Party. OT Fairclough was there with him. But OT Fairclough came from Haiti, saying that he was a banker. OT Fairclough was a riser and a scammer. He was no co-founder of the People's National Party. And we should reject those who are trying to sell us that notion. OT Fairclough is an unknown man. Nobody knows anything about him. And all the people who promoted him cannot produce anything to prove to us that this is true. But we're going to find out, because we don't know the resistance now let up. We're going to find out and we're going to bring a war to Mark Golding and Paul Burke and all who parroting that whole bogus argument about OT Fairclough co-founded PNP. So comrades, get your glass, get your bottles, get your cups, and raise your glass. Because, well, hold your glass a little bit. Norman Manley, scholar, soldier, athlete, fought in World War I with honors, won the Rhodes Scholar. Norman Manley was a teacher. Norman Manley was teaching at some school. I don't know if it's St. Catherine or Manchester. I think it was St. Catherine when his mother and he moved. When they moved to St. Catherine, Norman was teaching at a school when he got news that he won the Rhodes Scholar. Norman Manley was a teacher. OT Fairclough was a scammer from Haiti. Anybody who come from Haiti in 1934 after Franklin Delano Roosevelt pulled America from Haiti must have been some kind of scammer. We're not buying that foolishness about OT Fairclough, co-founded PNP. Norman Manley, King's Counsel, founder of the People's National Party, a man of honor and dignity, a man of great intellect, the man who founded the People's National Party. Comrades, raise a glass and let us wish Norman Washington Manley a happy birthday. It was yesterday, but let's wish him a happy birthday. We're going to drink to the founder of the People's National Party, Norman Manley. We're going to make those risers, Mark Golding and Paul Buchanan and Paul Burke and all those people parroting this foolishness about OT Fairclough. You wait until the resistance don't gather information. We're going to beat OT Fairclough right back into the ground where him come from, because nobody don't know him. I don't want to confuse PNP people and take PNP people for idiot. I don't know. If all these years he was the founder, why you know no attack? Why you know we know that he was co-founding? When we talk, he was just hanging out with Norman, feeling important, and Norman give him something to do. And who want to take Norman Manley's legacy and put it to this man who we know nothing about, who can't even show us a picture of him. Not even a picture of him, who can't show a letter that he wrote. Him co-founded the Public Opinion newspaper. There's no article that he wrote. He was co-founder of the PNP and Norman Manley one talk down at the War Theatre that night, September 18, 1938, and outlined to us what our party is. Raise the glass to Norman Washington Manley, founder of the People's National Party. Cheers. All right. That part, Michelle Stern is going to take up that part, and Uno Risers is going to learn very quickly that Norman Manley is the founder of the People's National Party and not OT Fairclough. So we'll get it back. So let's move on. All right, comments. We're not going to talk about... I'm just going to change up things a little bit outside of what we announced that we're going to be talking about, because there are some pressing things that came to the fore, and we need to address those things. The first thing I want to address, that is not on what we advertise, is ever since we did that live and spoke about that undermining operation that was led by Peter Bunting and Aluna Samba and Wizzy and the councillors down in Southeast St. Anne. Ever since we spoke about that undermining operation, that treacherous operation that took place, some people have been saying to me, one or two people, look upon me and said to me, we see her save Lisa. Yeah, man, we see her save Lisa. Well, you know, I have to set them straight and tell them we're not saving Lisa, we're saving a PNP seat. But that's how them look at it. We're trying to save Lisa. We're not trying to save Lisa. We're trying the PNP seat. I mean, Wizzy there making the PNP people them feel like it's fee money spending, but it's not fee money spending. It's the people money where the council them give him and him spend it back with the people them, and people feel like a fee money is not his money. Bunting, Asamba, Angela Brown Burke, Paul Burke, one of them down there meet on Wizzy farm to undermine Lisa Hanna, and we exposed it. And Lisa Hanna trying to get our constituency back and get it running and all of that. But I asked an important question last week when I asked, why is Lisa Hanna not on the conference circuit? The divisional conference is going on. Why is Lisa Hanna not on them? I'm going to share the live. Lisa Hanna is not on the conference circuit. Everybody I walk about in a conference. Mark, they're all over the place having conference. And the risers them and some PNP are saying that they see the response of PNP people to the conferences, and they are equating that with people loving Mark or people hugging up Mark. Well, let me set on straight tonight. PNP conference a PNP conference. What people go come a PNP conference and enjoy themselves? Them love the nicest. 2 years now, them get to enjoy nothing. PNP people come a conference. Don't mistake that to be some kind of love for Mark or some party coming together and we uniting and the thing coming together and all the rest of it. That is not the case. Nobody don't love Mark. Nobody don't love Mark. People don't love Mark. Mark have a few people around him that follow him up and down and make him feel important and all of that, but it's not coming together. So people saying to me, one, you're saving Lisa. And then some other people saying to me the other day that there are some people who feel that every time the party coming together, me mash it up. It's kind of a strange thing since it mash up already. But let me tell you that if you don't understand the coming together and the unity of the party to be that a whole of people showing up at the conference and PNP people enjoying themselves at conferences, if you're not confusing the two things, if you're not confusing that to mean that you're not coming together and uniting, you simply don't understand politics. No. Because you see Mark at all the conferences, them making a mockery of Jamaican dance and trying to make a mockery of a Jamaican dialect or language. We don't mistake that to be that we're party coming together and we're uniting. Nothing could be further from the truth. So they don't mix that up. It's two different things. So I asked, when I was in St. Mary, I asked Comrade Fitzroy Wilson. We're talking about his upcoming conference. We're talking about the division and his numbers. We go through his numbers. We talk about his plans, how to win back the division. Because when I have those discussions with candidates, those are things we want to talk about. So I said to him, Lisa, it's from your constituency. I think our mother still living in the division. And he said, yeah man, Lisa is from my constituency and stuff. So I said, so ask her to come to your conference. And Fitzroy says, he did. He did ask Lisa to come to the conference. But Lisa said that she can't come to the conference because she don't want to undermine and overshadow the party leader. I'm not telling her what it is, you know, because we have to talk about it. You can't pretend that because you're having good conferences, the party coming together, and you're having unity. Not no go so. Not no go so. You can't pretend that. Not no go so. You can't be saying that you're coming together and the party uniting because you see a good conference. When your most popular person, your star, your big star, not on the conference circuit. Dear man are doing thing. Raymond are doing thing. Paulwell are doing thing. Your other stars are doing them thing. But your big star, your Angelina Jolie, yeah, your big star, your Courtney Cox, your big star out there not participating in the conference circuit. And it begs the question to ask, why? And how else can you get the answer to such a question unless you go straight to the source? So I asked Lisa Hanna if she cared to tell me why she's not on the conference circuit. I asked her, sent her a WhatsApp, and I asked her the question, do you care to say why you are not on the conference circuit? I went straight to the source. And she said she didn't answer me. She didn't answer me. Up to coming on tonight, I still have not received an answer from her as to why. And so, having not received an answer from her, I am left now to come to some conclusions, which I am going to come to on my own. Some conclusions. Why is Lisa not on the conference circuit? Why? Why is that Lisa doing divisional conferences? She don't want to overshadow Mark. She don't want to upstage Mark, because if Lisa goes up, she'll upstage Mark. That's a fact of life. Mark not ready. Mark not ready. Not ready at all. Mark and him little loser crew were walk behind him with Sylvia and Parchment and water. Them not ready. The PNP people them love the conference, but don't mistake that to be that nobody love Mark. And people are gathered around him. So here's the conclusion I come to why Lisa Hanna is not on the conference circuit. Why Lisa Hanna not doing any conferences. First, I came to the conclusion that here was Mark hugging up and putting up him 2 fingers in the air like a Labourite with the man that was supposed to run against Lisa as a Labourite. The leader of the PNP hanging out with the man, bringing the man who was slated as a JLP candidate to run against the PNP candidate in Southeast St. Anne, and Mark Golding have him on stage, I hug him up and I love him up. Because Lisa, me not gonna win either. Mark Golding hugging up this man. The Labamouth big girl general secretary will talk about the liberalization of the PNP. Every minute you see the word them with Labourite will cross over into the PNP. And what kind of Labourites are they? Because, I mean, we can accept people in the PNP. But what kind of Labourites are they? Losers. Cruff. People don't make no sense. People who can't help with them are cruff. Them are losers and them are cruff. And a them are bringing a PNP. And I walk up and down upon them. I mark up on stage with them. With the man who was slated. There must be some kind of principle. As a party leader. There must be some kind of principle. You hug the man that was slated to run against your candidate. And you hug him up. And I big him up. Just like how soon I hug up and I big up Dennis Meadows. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. What kind of leader are you? I want to talk about things coming together. And things that, you know, everything got jail and PNP coming. Let me tell all of you. You call me upon phone. And I tell me that every time the party seem like it coming together, I go out there and mash it up. It mash up already, so I can't mash it up. But here's the reason why you think that. I am not saying that is not a reasonable assumption you make it by saying that, you know. Actually, it is a reasonable thing for you to say that every time it look like. Because when you look at the conferences, I want to take those conferences to mean that PNP people in a nothing with Mark. Well, let me tell you without a shadow of a doubt. PNP people not in a nothing with Mark Jefferson Golding. Get that through your head. But them are going to come a conference. Them are going to dance. Them are going to make nice. Them are going to drink liquor. We're going to go out with peer things at conference because a PNP conference. Mark Golding not a PNP, Mark Golding a riser. He's the leader of the Rise group. Him and him losers them. I walk up and down with losers. So Lisa now going on with them. Who can blame Lisa for don't want to hang out with them? She don't want to be in them space. And this is the conclusion I come to since I asked her why. And she don't answer me. She don't want to be in them space. Them are wicked, them are evil. I want somebody put out that picture with Giles and Sylvia at party headquarters today at the nomination, looking at Lisa with such hatred. Because the PNP resistance is a versatile organization, you know. You don't underestimate the resistance, you know. I announced at the beginning of this live, we celebrate the PNP resistance now having leadership in all 63 constituencies across the country. And let me tell you something else about that. In all of these constituencies, we are averaging about 10 or 11 persons per 11 to 13 persons per constituency. We're going to check that. PNP resistance growing. But the PNP resistance also have spies and FBI agents and CIA. We have a FBI part of the resistance. We have a CIA part. We have an NSA part. We have research team. We can't pull no wool over PNP face anymore because we are going to make sure the PNP people know what's going on. So we're not that thing with OT Fairclough out of the water, and we're talking about the Lisa Hanna thing. On the Sandra Bullock, on the Beyonce, on the Rihanna, Angelina Jolie, and Lisa that, the big star of the PNP. We don't have the Harrison Ford and the Wesley Snipes. We don't have the Matthew McConaughey and the Brad Pitt and the Leonardo DiCaprio. That's a Paulwell and Damian and Raymond. We don't have them. And them out there do them thing. PNP people love to see the stars them. Nobody wants to see Mark. Them just can't do better because I'm the leader. But the PNP people, them not see them big star. Them not see Lisa Hanna. Because Lisa Hanna don't want to be in on the midst because Mark Golden sit on platform with man when they going to run as labor right against him big star and him a welcome him into the PNP. The PNP accepting losers and not even good losers either. Fool, crop losers. Losers don't have no sense. Them not nice, them not good looking, them not no sense. I wanna hug them up over all the stars. I wanna wonder why Lisa Hanna not come to the conference. Lisa Hanna not come to the conference. She don't answer me, so I assume that. If she wants, she can correct me. I assume that, and I wouldn't be, and I don't blame her not to want to hang out anywhere with Uno. Because he's a wicked man. Mark Jefferson Golden, you're a wicked white man who need to leave PNP. You, Mark Golden, I hang out with man was supposed to run against your star. You have this third rate, fourth rate, the actor, and upstaging your leading lady. What's the matter with you? When I lose your mind, Lisa's a leading lady. Paul Wells a leading man. D-Man a leading man, them a star. Raymond a leading man, them a big star. When you put up them three man, they talk about Harrison Ford and Leonardo DiCaprio. And Leonardo DiCaprio. And Brad Pitt. And Brad Pitt. When you put them stars at them man, they talk about. And Lisa Hanna. Oh, she's Rihanna and Beyonce and Billie Eilish and Angelina Jolie and all of them then are one. And you, the leader of the PNP, hanging out with a loser man who want to run against your star. And you hang out with him and I put up your two fists, your two fingers in my ears with labor rights side. Depriving the PNP people them of them star because of your behavior, Mark Jefferson. Because of your behavior. So let me tell you now. Coming together. Fall in line. Some whole of people all in the region 3 now me people talk about fall in line. I see one clip of Joel and Sylvia down at South St. Andrew can talk about fall in line. Him can't fall in line because I look at work. Him is a loser, I look at work, so him can't fall in line. Him can't go join that line, fall in that line. I look at work, nobody else and I look at work. All of we suffer with discipline and dignity. That's what Michael so must do. Suffer with discipline and dignity. And we now bow to no. How if we come together. And I know that Omar Davis and PJ, and I don't have no quarrel with Omar. I would never quarrel with Omar. I love Omar. I mean now quarrel with PJ. Stop quarrel with PJ. And PJ done quarrel good. PJ is a comrade leader. And time who wants a comrade leader, PJ may refer to. And Peter Phillips. And the comrade leader them there. And Portia. I want it to come together. Fall in line. Come together. Let's unite. Let me ask all of you who love to use those words. One leader at a time. Like when you use that word, when you use those phrases, because it makes you feel bright. One leader at a time. What's the matter with it? Of course, it's one leader at a time. It sounds stupid, but one leader at a time. But let's look at the fall in line and the come together and the unite thing. Fall in line means that you drop out of the line. You drop out of the line. You drop, you bruise your knee. Somebody pitch you over, somebody push you out of the line, somebody thump you, somebody bust your head, you drop out of the line. Come together mean that you fall apart. You fall apart. As you wouldn't be say coming together, so you fall apart. Unite, meaning that we're not united, we are disunited. So let me ask on a bright people a question, because on a bright time, because a basic school me go. How on God's green earth do you propose to fall in line, to come together, to unite, when you have not yet found out what caused us to not be in line, to not be together, and to not unite. How are you going to fix something when you don't know why it's broken by just telling them, come fall in line? How? How you plan on doing that? You want to fall in line, you want to unite, you want to come together, but no want to address why it was apart. Why it is apart from the beginning. Why is it not together? Why it is not united? You don't look at that yet, but you walk around and tell people so they must fall in line and come together and unite. What is wrong with that? That defies all logic. And the whole educated people, the whole spend lots of money and get good education. On the day I tell people that we must fall in line now because the conference look good. When you hearing yourself? Seriously, when you listening to yourself? Fall in line because the conferences look good. Come together because the conferences are sell-off. Unite now because PNP people come out of the conference. Are you all listening to yourselves? How stupid all on the sound about telling people to fall in line. You only hear how stupid in the sound. You're not ready. None not ready. How about fall in line? So let me ask you again. Because it's a reasonable thing that you put forward to me, you know. What do you know I say? The thing look like it a come together and me seem like me want to mash it up. The first thing I want you to understand is, yes, it's a reasonable thing you put into me. It is. But it mashed up already. That's the first thing I never me mash it up. That was Peter Bunting and the Risers thing. That was not me. But let me use my own experiences. Not making this about me, but my own experiences for you to understand why it fall apart, why it not united, and why nobody not in line. Because the issues that made it fall apart, the issues that caused it not to be in line, the issues that caused it not to be united, those issues have not yet been addressed. Do you not address those issues yet? But for some strange reason, you believe that without addressing those issues, people must fall in line. Without dealing with those issues, people must unite. Without dealing with those issues, people must come together. Where do you all get off? Where? To think that somebody will want to fall in line and come together with you after you address the issues that tore you apart. Nobody not fall in line with you. So let's move on now to Vice Presidency. But I'm not so, I'm not, as I said, I'm not staying long. But I am not so sure that I want to have a detailed discussion about the vice presidential thing, because 4 vice presidents were nominated today, along with Mark Jefferson. And I understand that Comrade Zulika Jess is going to be nominated. She's going to run for vice president of the PNP. So then, let's look at those who have been nominated. Oh Jesus, I wish I didn't want to look at these people who nominated this evening. The PNP want us to fall in line. Who ready to fall in line on this life can go and go fall in line. Who ready to unite and come together? Go and go unite and come together. But me not unite with them. Me not come together with them. Me not fall in line with them. Them can go jump off our bridge for all I care. So comrades, Donna Scott Motley was nominated. Now Donna Scott Motley is a divine woman, a hard worker, great PNP, a woman of substance, so to speak. And we would be lucky as a party to have Donna Scott Motley as a vice president for the People's National Party. Lucky beyond understanding. Donna Scott Matley is not only a lawyer, she's a well-learned woman. She is a hard worker. She's a woman of substance. And her nomination is a welcome thing for the People's National Party. Because even if she wasn't all of that, she still made the PNP look good. She can stand up in her room and make the PNP look good. How many of you remember last year when the 4 vice presidents resigned and them named those 4 clowns? How many of you remember when Cliff used up on him program and laugh off a PNP? Oh my God! Look at that! Huh? The PNP have nominated 4 vice presidents. Ho 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 ho! Eugene Kelly. Ho ho ho! Norman Scott. Ho! Laughing off away. Look like we're idiots. Nominate clowns. Idiots. People who don't make we look good. That's who they nominated and elected as vice president last year. So even if Donna Scott wasn't a lawyer and a learned woman and an asset to the PNP, she still would make her look good. We'd still want to have Donna Scott Matley because she make her look good. So Donna Scott Matley was nominated today. And I welcome that with all my heart. But look at it now. 1 woman and 3 men. Every time for the last 83 years, the People's National Party have been nominating 3 men and a token woman. Donna Scott Matley is not a token woman. Donna Scott Matley stand tall above them 3 men there. Way tall above them 3 men there. When Norman Scott and Richard Azan and Eugene Kelly become vice president, Cliff used to up on him program and say, boy, this is the death of the PNP. In a real PNP, these people could not have been vice presidents. When did the PNP get to be this? That was Cliff Hughes making a mockery of the PNP. Because the PNP had Norman Scott and Eugene Kelly and Azad and Hills as vice president. So Donna Scott is good look for the PNP. But the PNP, for all its 83 years, have been nominating and having as vice president 3 men and 1 token woman. And let me repeat, Donna Scott is not a token woman. Donna Scott is a woman of substance. Donna Scott is a great woman above all of them men. 3 men. Why can't we nominate 3 women and 1 man? Why? Why not nominate 3 women and 1 man? Portia Simpson Miller was a token woman. And Angela Brownberg was a token woman. The only difference then, the only thing back then is that Portia and Angela could fight hard and fight could fight the man them. Could stand toe to toe with them. But it's always been 3 long-tone man. And 1 token woman. Why? PNP delegates. So the PNP delegates them. Now look, tag the PNP delegates them for me now. Let me have a word with them. Because I'm going to have a big long live after the next nomination to talk to the PNP delegates about what them need to do. Tag the PNP delegates and bring them in. And for those PNP delegates on the live, and when you hear me good. Norman Manley made you a delegate. Norman Manley formed this party. And when he formed it, he knew what he was doing. He did not say that the leader must be elected by 5 people or 10 people or a small committee. He gave the power of electing your leaders to you, the PNP delegate. That power is yours and yours alone. But learn this. That power of being a delegate is not a power that you believe is yours personally. That power is given to you in representation of the people that you serve. Let me break that down to you. You are the delegate from your area with PD 66, with 310 voters, your responsibility as a delegate is not only to vote for people in the party. Your responsibility as a delegate is to represent that 310 voters in PD 66. When you elect a president and a vice president, you electing those people on behalf of your voters in your PD. You electing people who you know you can call and ask them to come walk and talk to the people in your PD and get out your voters for you, because you are unable to do so. Why you are unable to do so? We're not going to sell the vote to Mark Jefferson already. The PNP people are watching us soon. That will sell the vote to Mark Golding. Or to sell out the PNP on the licky delegates. So don't have a chance to elect 4 vice presidents. And the PNP people are watching again. The lady down at Trelawney told me that, you see me, ma, me just look upon them, you know, who are them, you know, because nobody can come call me. And that's what she go on. Nobody can come call me. Me no business with them. Them up and down with them friend and company, them in a big car, them a drink big liquor, them friend come in them bar, them open whorehouse, them open shop, them open this, them open that. Then can't chat to me. Oh no, can't talk to the PNP voters come election time. So Uno going to be needing some people to come down there to make Uno look good. So the question is, Uno have a choice to go elect people to come down there to make Uno look good. People who can bring out the voters for Uno. I'm going to ask you a question. Apart from being a St. Catherine, which constituency, which PD worker, which delegate in charge of a PD would be out of them right mind to go invite Norman Scott to come walk your area, to come talk to delegate? The delegate will look by you and I look by him and I wonder who him. What's wrong? Out of the right mind. Norman Scott don't look good for PNP. Norman Scott don't look good for PNP. You can share the life with him, tell him some say so. I know Norman Scott long time. Man dating Campbell have the same kind of issues. Norman Scott was the chairman for region for St. Catherine when I was leader of the YO. So I want to tell him, who on God's green earth? You? Because if me have problems in my PD up here, and me know say me not in good standing with my PNP people them, me gonna need somebody to come bring them out for me. I would not be Norman Scott. Not in a million years. Him can't bring out my voters and for me. Mark Golding can't bring out your voters and food, but they already sell food a vote to him and stifle and kill the PNP votes. Vice President. The Vice President don't have no defined role in the PNP. They just put them in charge of something and they never really did anything. Not that I know of. There's no defined role for Vice President. It is just a status role. A Vice President. I'm in charge of Region 3. For what? To do what? Huh? I don't know. Angela Brownberg was Vice President in charge of Region 3 for years. But in Region 3 don't like Angela Brownberg. Nobody in Region 3 like Angela Brownberg. So I don't know what she was in charge of. But she was Vice President in charge of Region 3. But Angela Brownberg couldn't get nobody to do nothing. I mean, she have to go with what the region are going. You know? Damien was Vice Chairman in charge of Region 3 to once. I don't know how that worked out. Paul was Vice President in charge of Region 4. Man worked them the place there. Good Vice President. You know, I'm trying to avoid Michael Phillips because I have some strong words for that fellow. Strong words I have for him. But we got Donna Scott, and that's a great choice. And Mark Golding, and Philip Paulwell, and all of those who made deals to nominate just these 4, and to have these 4 just go forward. Well, guess what? We made deal last year too. Or the year before. We made deal. And that deal fell through. And we got 4 vice presidents that could neither 7 nor 11. 4 vice presidents and cannot represent the People's National Party. I could be vice president of the People's National Party. I could be vice president of the People's National. I'm brown, I'm nice looking. I have a decent education. Well, guess what? Why I could never be vice president, really? The party could go ask me if I could talk to Adam Stewart about something. Get some money for the party. Karen go have some discussion with Adam Stewart. Go down Adam Stewart. The first thing I'm going to ask him is why the workers them at the Sandals Resort can't get to join a union. Why don't you pay them such pittance money and why them can't join a union so they can't beat. There you go. Norman Scott for vice president of the PNP. The question in the Norman Scott thing is, why is it so important for Mark and Dayton to have Norman Scott as a vice president? Is that a reward? Is there something going on with that? Because we get the feeling that is a must-have Norman Scott kind of situation. What is it? We don't know. But I remember something. I remember during the 2019 internal elections, presidential race, leader race, Norman Scott was playing with both sides. 1 minute him is a riser, the next minute him is a 1 PNP. And I don't know what he did to piss off Bunting. But I remember Bunting standing in the middle of the campaign headquarters on the top of his lungs. I don't know who tell him something that Norman Scott did or said or whatever. And Bunting stood on the top of his lung and said, Norman Scott is nothing but a common criminal. Not me, say so. That was Peter Murcutt Bunting. Shouted out, Norman Scott is nothing but a common criminal. There you have it. There you have it. Straight from the mouth of the rise boss. That Norman Scott is nothing but a common criminal. Bunting says so. How many people did there? Ian Ayers was there. Angela was there. Connie was there. Murray Rober was there. Who had been there when Bunting says so? Said Norman Scott is nothing but a common criminal. A Bunting says so, they made the rise boss. But Mark seemed to, Mandate and Campbell have decided that Norman Scott is their guy. And them want Norman Scott. So them have Norman Scott. Then there is Ian Ayers. Now Ian is my brethren. Well, I don't know if we're brethren anymore still. I'm not behaving like a brethren too lately, but I like Ian Ayers. No matter what I still like Ian Ayers. I've always liked Ian Ayers. Even though him lose the whole I see them down Region 6, and I've always liked Ian Ayers. And let's say for argument's sake that Ian Ayers don't fit the bill either to be a vice president. Just for argument's sake. Let's say some people would argue that Ian Ayers not no substance, or Ian Ayers don't know what to do, and Ian Ayers this and that. But guess what? Ian Ayers dress nice and smell good and have on good clothes and him look fine. So if you put Ian Ayers and Donna Scott together, them can represent the PNP. It's a good look for the PNP. But here the problem now. Mark wants Ian Ayers. Because all of this is about who want who. And it is just, let me close this window. It is such a disturbing thing to think all the time who want who and why they want them to be vice presidents without thinking about the capabilities and the competences of these people. The capabilities, the competences, the commitment, the loyalty, the decency, the honor that is required to be a vice president of the People's National Party. Does these men have that? Do they have that? Is that what we're looking for? Or are we just looking to satisfy people's ego and satisfy and pay political payback? Or Mark needs to feel comfortable that him have some man behind him. Well, I don't know if he do what, but you know. But the question is, again, why does Mark feel that he needs Ian Hills? That's the first thing. And the second question would be, why does Angela Brown Burke and Paul Burke want to get rid of Ian Hills? Just two questions. Mark want to keep him. Why? What's the purpose? What is his skill and what special things he come with that could be beneficial to the PNP? That's why you want to keep him. It's a question. Not beating up Ian. It's just a question. It needs to be answered. And the PNP delegates, we are going to elect these people, need to start asking some serious questions as Norman Manley delegates. Norman Manley gave them that responsibility to be careful of who you elect. And we need to start asking some questions of these people. Who are they? What do they represent? What? Do they represent you? Can they help you? Can they deliver the PNP votes? I don't even know if Norman Scott will win back his seat. But a different story. So Mark wants Ian Hills and him want Norman Scott. But Angela don't want Ian Hills. Paul Burke don't want Ian Hills. And it goes round and round and round. It gives me no pleasure, none at all, to say what I'm about to say regarding Michael Phillips. And I'm not going to say all that I want to say. I'm just going to say a few things. And I'm going to say these few things with much respect to his father. A son, particularly an elder and your oldest son, is the heir to his father's throne, whatever that throne is, whether it's misery or happiness, whether it's riches or poorness. The elder son is the heir to his father's throne. There's this movie called A Blast from the Past with Brendan Fraser. Yeah, Drew Barrymore, Christopher Walken. It's just a space I think in that too. And in the movie, Brendan Fraser was born and grew up in a bomb shelter. His father built. And when he was 30 years old, he came out of the bomb shelter to go look more supplies. Because they go back into them bomb because them things a nuclear explosion happened. The whole thing. Why do I bring up that movie for you? There is a scene in that movie where Brendan Fraser, the actor, said to Drew Barrymore, his co-star, that's how it works, he said. That's how it works. First, the parents takes care of the children, and then the children takes care of the parents. That's how it works. A simple argument for a simple little guy that was brought up in a bomb shelter, well educated by his father in the bomb shelter, speaks Spanish and French and all of that. But it's a simple argument he made. First, the parents takes care of the children, and then the children takes care of the parents. And he never meant that in a financial or he never meant that in a financial way. He never meant that they should buy stuff and buy a house and stuff. He meant that in a spiritual sense. You know? Kindred spirit, look after your father. And Michael Phillips have betrayed his father. And we have all watched him betrayed his father. That fellow have been hanging out with the risers them from the beginning, listening to them conspiring against his father, said nothing. Listening to them saying things about his father, said and did nothing. Walk up and down with them for the sake of power. The boy betrayed his father, the eldest son of Dr. Peter Phillips, who was supposed to set an example for his brothers. His brothers are supposed to look to him as an example. They're supposed to look to him and what he does and what he says and how he operates as a big brother and they are supposed to learn from him. But Michael Phillips, him is like an assassin. Him do things quietly underneath. Him do things very quietly. He contributed in a very, very serious way. He contributed to the loss of Michael Stewart's seat. The resistance leaders down in Manchester give me all the information. All the things that he did to undermine Michael Stewart. Because he's very sneaking. And somebody said to me, you ever wonder why Dr. Phillips always telling Michael that he should leave politics alone? That's what Dr. Phillips endorsed him the other day. Dr. Phillips is a fine father. I'm going to embarrass his son in public. I'm going to endorse his son. And the boy never defended his father. Never stood up for his father. And that's the example he's setting for his younger brothers to follow. That you must pursue your political ambitions, and you can do so by being dishonorable. You can do so by doing whatever you please, and don't stand up for your family. Proceed. That's the example he's setting for his two daughters. That you can betray your family for your own political ambitions. That boy betrayed him father. And I'm not going to go into all the details of that betrayal. But I know that sons must stand up for their fathers. I know that children must stand up for their parents. And that's why I stand up for my mother's group. That Dayton Campbell take off the delegates them off. And we're talking about unite. Or are we going to unite? Oh, are we going to unite? Or are we going to fall in line? Oh, you want me, Karen Cecilia Cross, to stop? How? When you have not yet addressed the issue of Dayton Campbell, that little full of loops, who don't know nothing about PNP, took my mother group delegates out of my mother groups, and the group that we formed in her memory, and the group that we formed in memory of Tony Spalding, and took the delegates out, and nobody in the leadership of the PNP addressed that. Are you going to unite? Are you going to fall in line? You want to tell me? If you don't know something that me don't know, tell me. How are we going to stop? We don't address that yet. My mother, Audrey Naomi Evan Grant, early on, before I came on the live, I had a meeting with my priest, and Sonia Gonzalez was there. And I left her there. Normally I would have stopped her and have a conversation with Sonia Gonzalez, but I couldn't. Because she's the only person currently in the PNP who knew my mother very well and knew my mother's contribution. And I felt I couldn't talk to her about that. How sad is that? That I couldn't talk to her, that I couldn't say, Sonia, you know that Dayton Campbell spitefully took up the delegates from my mother group, New Signal, and the one we formed in her honor, Audrey Grant Memorial, and Tony Spalding group, Spalding Steppers, and the group that we formed in memory of Jacko Lions Memorial, and the one we unite, we don't know. Where did you get that from? And I could remind Sonia Gonzalez that during the height of the political war here in West Central St. Andrew, we were warned, they were warned, not to pass by McKinley Crescent with the labor at them and hang out and shoot off of PNP people. But my mother and Sonia Gonzalez them, never afraid for pass this part labor right there. They're not afraid of labor right. And the labor right them bust shut off of the whole of them. And she, Sonia Gonzalez, and my mother, lie down on the ground. A dodge gunshot from labor right. She lie down upon my mother lie down upon she. My mother died with those scars on her chest and the back of her hands from that incident. When laborers are shoot off of them. And then when the police from Olympic Way started coming up, but the boy them not stop, my mother, she crawled back and go for the PNP book where she left. Go back for the PNP book that drop when them drop a ground for dodge labor right bullets. And the two of them scrape up. And Dayton Campbell, who never made a sacrifice in his life for the People's National Party, took my mother's delegate from our group and the group that we name in our memory. and just took them away. And my mother has been speaking to me and asking me, why did I make that happen? She blaming me. So why did I make that fool did that? She want me to defend it. Because she think that what I'm doing is right. But I must defend our group. That she fought hard for PNP and build that group. At one stage, that group had about 100 members in it. Everybody in the community is a member of music now. And that idiot took my mother group and take off the delegates off of it. Because he may know nothing about PNP. I don't quarrel with him. I don't war with him. I don't want us to unite. I want us to fall in line. I may talk to Omar and PJ now. Uno, I go talk to Uno PJ and I not quarrel with PJ, but I talk to Uno, we try to unite it, and Paul well, and the whole of we meet and I make deal. And I talk about people must come together. I may talk to the regional leadership in Region 3. When they expelled me from the PNP, and I'm going to go back to the Michael Phillips thing. When they expelled me from the PNP, I was told that I should appeal the expulsion. I did. I wrote a lengthy appeal addressing the 3 or 4 things that they said that I was guilty of. A lengthy appeal. I went to my lawyer and we sat down and went through the appeal. And she said, yes, it was good. I took it to party headquarters, 3 copies. And I walked into the foyer at PNP headquarters. And there was Teresa. Teresa is a receptionist. And receptionists in all organizations can accept letters and sign for those letters that are addressed to their bosses. And I said to Teresa, I have a letter for Dayton Campbell and one for Aluna Samba. But I need for you to sign for them for me, please. And Teresa, who I've known for a long, long time, look at me. And Teresa get a funny way. And she said, never sign for them. No sign for them. I take me for sign for them. I know me for sign for them. Me no sign. Me no know you can't carry me no for them. And then she took up the phone. And she called that little frefre youth. Where we arise at a PNP conference, called himself Deputy General Secretary. And she called him. And she said, Karen Cross here, and she have a letter for the General Secretary and for Comrade Alun, and she wanted me to sign for it. And he gave her permission to sign for it. You know why unity? Look at that. Teresa, the receptionist at PNP headquarters, who's supposed to accept mail and gladly sign for them, afraid to lose her work. Afraid that if she signed for the letters, the appeal, if she signed for them, she might lose her work. That's the PNP in and not talk about people must fall in line. Teresa afraid. The fear was clear in her mind that it's not that she don't want to sign for them. She's afraid she might go sign for them because they might come from me and they might fire her for it. So Teresa had to get permission as a receptionist. She had to get permission from the local youth, but just joined PNP the other day, to sign the letter them. And she signed them, and she took them, and I left them. About a week after that, because Christine wasn't there. If Christine was there, Christine would take them and sign for them. Christine is my friend. About a week after that, I called Christine when she came back. And I said, Christine, whenever I call Christine, I call her by her full name and she addressed me as a full. I said, Christine Marie, what's happening? And she said, Karen Cecilia, what's up? Not much. I said, I was calling to make sure you got that letter for the General Secretary for me. It's my appeal. And Christine said, no, I don't see it. Turn it to me, just email it to me. And I email it back to Christine. Waited again. Angela Brownberg became chairman of the party after I told her not to elect her. You don't listen to nobody because you think you don't know it all. You let her into the cock house. Now she at the cock house, you can't do nothing because she run rings round and all on an idiot. I want to know, but you never listen to me. She became chairman of the party. A couple of days after she became chairman, I emailed her the appeal. About 2 days after she responded to me, she's not so sure. I'm not so sure what I'm supposed to do with this. I don't know why you send it to me. I don't know. What am I supposed to do with this? So I set her straight on that, of course. But when she responded to me, she added a Luna Samba to the email thread. So she have to chime in as well. A Luna Samba chimed in. I don't know either. I don't know why she's sending this to me. This big red woman with a law degree, we can't get no work nowhere. Wasting our time away. Itching up on the mark and dating. Love position. I don't know why she sent it to me either. So I emailed back to both of them and set them both straight. I said to Asamba, I said to Angela, you're the chairman of the party. I know you have received this appeal, but I want to now officially give it to you as the newly elected chairman. Because I know that in PNP, all disciplinary matters going around, no matter what happened, the chairman going to eventually be presiding over some of those things. So when I said that to her, she said, okay. Asamba, she know. I said to Asamba, I addressed them separately. I said to Asamba, I don't know why you believe that you can sit there and talk about why I'm sending this to you. And I told her that she's I don't remember what I said, but it was quite powerful. And I'm going to tell you why it was quite powerful, what I said to her. I said, I send you the appeal, and you have not yet responded to me because the appeal, a copy of the appeal to Asamba was accompanied with a cover letter. And the cover letter is a request by me to appear before the NEC to answer those charges which they laid out and to defend myself. She never responded. So finally she backed up. She backed right up and said, okay, I did not get it. Can you send it to me again? And I promptly sent it back to her. And she said, thanks, I will look into it. That was October last year. All of that was October last year. Why am I telling you this? Because I want us to fall in line and come together and unite. Them expel me. I have appealed, and up to today, the 5th day of July 2022, not one of them has responded to me. And all I want, Paul, well, all I want, Damien, Raymond, all I want, Angela Brownberg, Asamba, all I want, all the people from the NEC, Sonia Gonzalez, who sit down there and make them move mama and group people. Them. All I want, I don't care, because all I want busy, I fall in line for your own reasons, personal and political reasons. You fall in line, you come together for whatever you get or whatever is promised to you. I don't want people to fall in line and come together and stop when they don't even have the decency to respond to the appeal. Not even a line to say we have received it. Just that. None of it. Now, it was my intention to bring that up at all. But it falls into the whole argument of fall in line and come together. I sent out that appeal to regional secretaries and influential persons in the region to get it out to the NEC members. And let me start with Region 4. Region 4 have a regional secretary, that big bullfrog down there named Keisha, Keisha Lewis, thinking that Region 4 and the secretaryship of Region 4 is her personal domain. And she not answer to nobody. And nobody not ask her no question. Not even the regional chairman, Denise. Nobody must have said nothing to her. She worked for Scotty. She's not his type, so them not bed partners. But she work for Scotty. And after the next local government elections, I am going to go down to that division and make the PNP people them know that them need better representation than she. She has no business representing people, that girl. No business. Don't know how to talk to people. Don't know how to respond to people as a regional secretary. You know what, girl? You know what she said to me? I said to her, Comrade Keisha, and we have the email and the WhatsApp to prove my tone and my mannerism toward everyone. I said, Comrade Keisha, could you pass this on to the NEC members in Region 4, please? No, not doing that. Can't do that. You know, always send out your things them through a whole heap of email. Just send it out through that regular email. Now listen to me, no comrades. What I was trying to do by asking the regional secretaries to send it out is to ensure that the appeal don't fall into hands of people who are not NEC members. That was my only motivation. And she went on, and I put her on one side and have her in the back of my head to deal with her later. And I found a way to get it out to Region 4. Let me come to Region 3 with the regional secretary Carl Kirkland, that fifth columnist. That boy who not represented nobody but himself. Not represent Region 3, represent himself. He's there in that position to elevate himself. And he will kiss whatever ask and whatever ring he needs to elevate himself. Everything he does is nothing for the region. He was at Papi in that day. He was at Papi in that day and never did anything when them locking door for a PNP voter in his region. I mean a PNP voter in his region that he's the secretary for. And them a lock door and put way out. And he was there. And he couldn't do nothing. The only people that said anything was Council Swaby and Julian Robinson. Julian Robinson was a little peeved by the fact that it's a public session and they had no right to be locking out PNP people. And Carl Kirkland has sent it to him. And like I said to him Monday, Tuesday I said Kirkland started sending it out, him busy. Wednesday I said Kirkland sent it out, I don't get around to it. Say. By the following week, I started calling some people in Region 3 to ask them if they have received my appeal. And they said no. Because that little short storm fool who's representing himself decided not to send it out. Him not sending it out. Not send it out. So of course, I found ways and means to talk to PNP people who are NEC members. So I would send it to our NEC members and say, please, could you pass this on to another NEC member for me in Region 3 or Region 4 or any NEC members you know, but please keep it within the NEC. The Region 1 people sent it out for me. The Region 2 secretary sent it out. The Region 6 people sent it out. But we get to Region 5 now. The secretary of the region, who is Bunting secretary, because she don't feel like she's the secretary of the region, she's Bunting secretary. And I'm just going through all of this to make the people who telling me that the party need to come together and unite, understand that you can't unite something and you don't know what caused it to be disunited. You can't bring something together when you have not yet addressed why it fell apart. You can't fall into a line when you have not yet looked at how you got out of the line. These are the things that you're not addressing. And no, and no care. Because there's an NEC of PNP people. And no. Now get up to that NEC meeting and ask a question. Did Comrade Cross send in an appeal? Yes, I get a general secretary announced that them got the appeal. And that was it. Nothing else. That was it. And nobody have the guts to start up in an NEC meeting and ask about a simple matter, a process that UNO set in motion. I never ever take UNO expulsion seriously, but UNO started a process. And I decided, because I know UNO, I know it would have reached this. Believe me when I tell you I know it would reach here, sir. I knew, which is why I did it the way I did. Dropped it off, get it signed for, send it by email, send it to the regions, talk to people, so that now we come to this. And I sent them out. And none of them have asked the women's movement president, who's a damn joke, as far as I'm concerned. Nobody asked about the appeal. But you call me and tell me how the conferences are good, and now maybe we can do what? Maybe you can go ask Dayton Campbell. Maybe you can go ask Dayton Campbell why I'm taking up the delegates of my mother group. Why don't I ask him that? Why I'm take off the delegates of a new signal, my mother group, my mother who contribute to PNP, my mother who face gunshot for PNP. Now man, Michael Malley come walk a Jerusalem, him shirt get soiled, my mother take off him shirt, wash it. By the time he done walking, come back him shirt nice and press. My mother who work for David Core and Paul Thompson. My mother who gave her all. Dayton. Dayton Campbell took out my mother's delegates. And Patrick Roberts, the councillor for the area, couldn't defend that. Region 3 couldn't defend that. Well, in all honesty, the Region 3 chairman did try. He was making a lot of calls the day, Dennis. But he just pushed under the carpet and gone. And everybody talk about coming together and stuff. While Dayton Campbell took off my mother name, took off the delegates of our group. And Jacko Lyons get up and cuss labor right every day. Put on him PNP shirt, put him around in him pocket. Bust up Liberty Pan labor at bust Jacko head, labor at box Jacko. We defend that and Jacko now stop bust up Liberty Pan him. And you Dayton Campbell took off the delegates then. Off the group. I talk about fall in line and come together and unite when we don't have the decency to respond to the appeal. And nobody not asking Dayton Campbell. Why am I take off my surgery? Group delegates. I'm going to end it now, comments. We'll talk again another time. Thank you for joining me. We have some more things to talk about, but we can't talk about them again tonight, so talk about it next time. God bless you all. Good night. Keep your children safe. Right.